Who's a good goalie? Who's a good goalie, Nev?
No, the lad at Man City's all right. Liverpool's okay. Ours is average. He does okay. Average? He's average. If I played like that, I'd be out of the team for Howard. So I'm glad he's English. Because if you look at the other two who are English, oh, happy days. We're struggling in Wales, to be fair, but no. Again, all the standards, you look at the standard of actual goalkeeping, it's poor. How can anybody be world class if they can't catch a ball?
There's a lot of punching going on nowadays, isn't there? You know,
yeah.
Just going back to Big Dunk, actually. But just, it seems to be, is it because the balls move? Or is
so the balls only move on a Saturday, do they? What happens the rest of the week when you train with them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
well, surely you'll get used to the ball and you go, right, this is the way we do it. But if you look at a lot of the goals, they push the balls back to where the balls come from when they score. They push the ball out to give a corner away. And you're thinking, can any of them, if you were playing now, that's what I'm talking about standards, wouldn't you want to be the one that could catch it? And be head and shoulders above everybody else.
There is nothing better as a football fan than if you're defending a 1-goal lead and it's near the end of the game and your keeper comes out and just grabs the ball and falls through about 6 players. It's like this incredible relief, and it just shows a lot of composure, doesn't it, and confidence in the goal.
But, it's they keep telling me it's changed, right? Goalkeeping's changed. You need to be good with your feet. Well, do you? Because as soon as the ball comes back to me, in my day, everybody just went, see you later. You pick it up and boot it down there. Now it comes back to you, full back there, centre halves are there, full backs there, full backs up there, centre midfield comes. You've got 5 choices and you only have to pass it here and there. That ain't difficult, is it?
Can I tell you the biggest change between when you were playing and now is that when my dad first took me to the match, he was talking about Everton and the history and all of that. I took my lad to his first Everton match this season, and it was the Southampton game. Support kids, yeah.
0800 111
He's currently, he's currently in a secure centre away from me, so it can't happen again. It was the Southampton game in the League Cup. We had 25% possession, we lost on penalties, and it was awful, and he loved it. But on the way into the ground, instead of talking about Everton, I found myself in this genuine conversation with him about PSR. And I was walking in, I was like, well, so you can lose 105 million over a 3-year basis, or it could be 35 million over an annual basis, but ultimately you can offset some of these costs against, charitable endeavours. And he's like, what? Enjoy the game, son. It's like, what are we doing here? Where's the soul? Where's
You'll
the
never
joy?
sing that.
Yeah.
How much are you paying in pocket money?
He's getting £10 a month. He's getting, but
well, that's an ISA, is it?
It's in a high yield stocks and shares ISA. So he's hopefully going to be able to buy the home kit in a couple of years with that. But what this turnaround has been, and albeit it is a small turnaround at the moment, it's given people like my son and other kids in the city as well, competing with obviously another team in the city. I don't want to mention the name, but they're doing quite well. It didn't do so well yesterday. But never mind. I was on the train. I was in Yorkshire all weekend. I was coming in on the train, and I was buying a bacon butty from the buffet cart, and the woman was a Geordie, and I recognised her accent. And she heard my accent. She went, "Did you watch the football yesterday?" And I said, "You think I'm a Liverpool fan, don't you?" And she went, "Yeah." And I went, "I'm an Everton fan," and we just high-fived each other. It's great. Still had to pay for the bacon butty, but to give kids like people to look up to, like footballers, and we've been starved of that as Everton fans, and someone like Njai, who, and you're right, let's see where he takes his career and how far he can go. But he's just someone to get excited about, and I think that's something that we've really been starved of. So it just feels good, and if we can bring in, 2, 3, 4 more players who get you off your seats over the summer, then we'll all be very happy.
As fans, do you expect that to happen next season? Do you expect it to happen and get them over the line?
The hope is the word.
Hope. Demand it, hope it. I mean, the realistic expectations. I think
the market's got smaller and smaller, and it gets smaller and smaller because where the players go, and they go to the top clubs money-wise, because they can sit there for 4 or 5 years, do nothing, and be set up for the rest of their life. So the flow down to the lower teams will never come, because it'll always go up, always to the top. So we need to be competing at that level financially to start with, Yeah, we got a new ground, but we're not in any competitions. So we're going to have to overpay, I think. And I think what's proved as well is that you can only bring a certain number of players in. Yeah. Because what you got to remember is when Colin brought in, I think 5 or 6, and Howard brought in 7. There was 7 unhappy players in that dressing room because we were taking their places. There was 5 when Colin come in, and they were experienced ones as well. So it created a bit of an atmosphere. So today, it's easy to buy somebody. Getting rid of them is hard because some of these players now that we've got, the money that they're on, they won't get anywhere else. They just won't get it. So they're going to stay there as long as they can and not move on unless they get weighed in, which is fair enough. But it goes back to recruitment. Why would you recruit somebody who's an average player and pay him over the money, and then you've got to get rid of them? And then if you sack the manager, you've got to get rid of all the ones that you don't want. And you have to pay a fortune to get rid of people. And the one thing Sharpie did, Graham Sharp, when he was on there, they were going to give Frank Lampard a 5-year contract. And he said, well, why are you doing that? Because you sack everybody after 18 months. Give them 2.5, and at least you're saving 2.5 years' money. So they did that, to be fair to him. But, you know, and I also think there's a bigger question for the Premier League to ask, to answer, is how Moshiri became owner of Everton Football Club. Because he has to have passed the test. And all of them should pass a test. And when it goes wrong, they're responsible because they let him come through. They're saying he's a fit and proper fella to run that club. Well, look at it. He doesn't have a clue.
What I've liked to do over the last sort of 7 or 8 weeks is try and sort of change the narrative in my head, because I agree with everything you've said, and Moshiri was a disaster for the club, and it could have been such a stepping stone for success, but it wasn't. But now I like to turn it around and go, they've tried everything to kill this club. They've tried everything. And not many clubs would have stayed together and still had the unwavering support of the fan base that we've had. And you just can't kill Everton. You just can't kill us. Like, drop the H-bomb. There'll be cockroaches, Keith Richards, and us. That'll be all that'll be left. Just singing the blues, you know what I mean? Keith Richards just...
But there's only one reason why we've survived. And that's because of the people here.
Yeah.
It's not because of the players. It's because every time we've been in the ship, that the people have got together, and you look at the welcome that the bus gets. Now, if I was a player and I was looking at that, I'd be going, wow, we get this one, what the league. Imagine if we actually won something. So if that's not a driving force, but it's not up to the fans to buzz the players up. It's up to them to get their finger out and do the job in the first place. So we shouldn't be there. So I remember Mike Walker when the Wimbledon game, to be fair, we come on, he was over the moon, thinking he'd done it. You put us in it. Somebody, Frank Lampard, the same. Frank Lampard up on the roof celebrating. He put us in relegation. What's he celebrating for? Because he got out of jail.
It's back to that mentality, isn't it?
Yeah, the mentality should be, well, what the hell? You say to Mike Walker, well, what's going on? He said, oh yeah, we did this. And I thought, shut up, man.
Yeah.
I wouldn't let you manage my dinner.